Hello, so this video is on daddy issues, history, impact, and how to cope. Daddy issues has no precise definition. Still, it's becoming a popular catch-all phrase for how the relationship with one's father in childhood infects someone in adulthood, especially with a father who is absent or emotionally unavailable. The term is often used in a derogatory way to describe women who date older men, call their sexual partner daddy, or any other sexual behavior that someone might deem aberrant or unusual. Despite its prevalence, however, daddy issues isn't a clinical term or disorder recognized by the American Psychiatric Association's latest update of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So, in this video, I'm going to explore the origins of the term, the psychological theory it refers to, and the findings at some research studies on the impact of daddy issues. I'll then turn our attention to why the term tends to be gendered and why it shouldn't be. Finally, we'll conclude with some tips to help people with daddy issues begin to overcome them. So where do daddy issues come from? Well, it's not clear exactly where the term originated. It appears to have arisen from the idea of the father complex, which Sigmund Freud first proposed as part of his psychoanalytic theory. The Oedipus complex and Electra complexes. The father complex describes unconscious impulses that occur due to a negative relationship with one's father, which is related to the better-known idea of the Oedipus complex. Freud introduced the Oedipus complex to describe a young boy's attraction to his mother and feelings of competition with his father. While Freud's work was initially only focused on boys, Carl Jung believed girls could feel competitive with their same-sex parent for the attention of their opposite-gender parent too. He labeled this phenomenon as the Electra complex. According to Freud's theory of psychosexual development, the Oedipus and Electra complexes arise between the ages of 3 and 5. If the complex is not resolved by the end of this stage of development, children may become fixated on their opposite sex parent. Therefore, boys will become mother fixated and girls will become father fixated. This eventually leads to difficulty in adult relationships. Attachment theory. Although Freud's idea of the father complex originated in his understanding of the development of boys, the broader concept isn't gendered. It led to attachment theory, which centers on the impact of relationships between people, especially children and their caregivers, not sexuality. The first attachment theorist, John Bowlby, suggested that one's attachment style in childhood profoundly impacts adult attachment styles. As a result, those who feel safe and secure and have a secure attachment style in childhood will continue to have a secure attachment style as adults. If, on the other hand, an individual is insecurely attached as an adult, they will develop one of 3 insecure attachment styles in adulthood. So, these insecure attachment styles include anxious, preoccupied. Those with an anxious, preoccupied attachment style want to be close to others but are worried their partner won't be there when they need them. This can make them seem clingy and demanding. Second, we have fearful, avoidant. Those with a fearful, avoidant attachment style form intimate relationships but have trouble trusting their partners because they believe they'll get hurt. This can make them distant and detached. 3 is dismissive avoidant. Those with a dismissive avoidant attachment style prefer to avoid forming close relationships and the emotional challenges they bring. While securely attached adults believe people will be there for them when they need them, insecurely attached adults will behave in one of 2 ways. They will either attempt to form relationships but worry that the people they care for won't be there for them, or they will prefer not to develop close relationships at all. Suppose an individual had a poor relationship with their father in childhood. In that case, this could lead to insecure attachment in adulthood. leading to what has become known as daddy issues. So, what is the impact of daddy issues? Studies have shown that the impact of a negative relationship with one's father is real. For example, one study showed a casual relationship between father's absence or low engagement in their daughters' lives and women's risky sexual behavior, including sexual permissiveness and negative attitudes towards the use of condoms. These effects didn't extend to non-sexual risky behavior or men's sexual behavior. While men who grew up with an absent or emotionally distant father reported a range of issues, including the lack of a male role model, feelings of inadequacy such as lack of self-confidence and self-esteem, and the quest in adulthood to find a father substitute. So why is the concept of daddy issues gendered? The suggestion that women will become father-fixated as a result of an unresolved Electra complex perhaps gave rise to the gendered perspective that is often attached to the concept of daddy issues. However, while the term daddy issues is frequently used to negatively describe and even mock women's behavior in relationships, daddy issues can impact anyone who may carry psychological wounds from their relationship with their father into adulthood. While it manifests itself differently in different people, at its core, those with father complex are looking for validation from the men in their lives. Still, the popularity of the term daddy issues to describe women's relationship with men is problematic and can be used to blame a woman for the issues of the men in her life. Saying a woman has daddy issues judges and belittles someone who has been hurt by her formative relationship with her father, when ultimately the fault lies with her father for failing to meet her needs. Fortunately, the idea of those of any gender can have daddy issues is becoming more widely accepted today. This is partially driven by pop culture, such as the television show Lucifer, which acknowledges that men's adult behavior can be impacted by their poor early relationships with their fathers as women's can. So, what do I do if I have daddy issues? If you had a father who was absent or emotionally unengaged when growing up, you might still suffer from the negative impact of that relationship. Fortunately, according to the relationship and sex therapist Caitlin Cantor, there are many ways to overcome these challenges, starting with recognizing that your father, not you, is responsible for your issues. So here are the steps that Cantor recommends. So 1, recognize. When children's needs aren't met, Cantor explains, they start to believe that they're not worthy of love, attention, affection, or whatever else they require, which reverberates into adulthood. But though a combination of education and awareness, you can learn to recognize how your relationship with your father impacted you and how you may be reconfirming old beliefs. 2, mourn. Let yourself feel the pain of negative relationship with your father and mourn what you didn't have in your life because of it. And 3, learn. Once you've recognized how the beliefs you formed during childhood impact your current relationship, you can replace them with new, healthier ones. Cantor observes that part of this involves realizing that you're in a relationship with someone who is emotionally distant and not treating you the way you want to be treated. After acknowledging that, you can start to learn how to connect with the kind of partner you want instead of continuing to fall into relationships that reconfirm old beliefs. These steps can help you begin to heal from daddy issues, but Cantor cautions it's an in-depth process and it's not necessarily a linear process. As a result, it can be helpful to see a counselor or therapist to ensure the best outcomes as you confront and move past a father complex. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.